Although the advertising industry is inundated with advertising competitions and awards each year, Pendoring is the only competition of its kind that focuses on the promotion of outstanding Afrikaans advertising. These awards speak directly to the heart and minds of Afrikaans-speaking consumers. Joining us to take the discussion further is the GM for Pendoring, Franette Klerck, and head copywriter at Draft FCB, Morne Strydom. Morne and Franette, thank you so much for joining us. And Pepe, I'm going to start with you though. Is there a need to have an entity on its own as an Afrikaans advertising company?
I think there's definitely a need for entity like Afrikaans, but I may argue there's also a need for Zulu, Tswana, Sotho, etc., etc. So I think in the ideal world, it would be spectacular if we could sort of advertise to every single market in their language. But then in reality, when you look at budgets, it's just not possible.
Yeah.
So yes, I support it. I am proudly South African and proudly Afrikaans. I'm Afrikaans. But when I logically think about it, I think there's a bigger scope rather for advertising that speak to South Africans. And I think that might be an interesting debate to have later on with the guys.
If revenue is not coming in, how exactly are they going to sustain themselves though?
Well, it's gonna all depend on, one will have to see where it goes. I mean, it's been going for many years. I'm not, I think 14th year, I'm not sure, 16 years, time flies. Wow. So it's been going for 16 years.
So it's sustained itself.
So it's sustained itself.
Yeah.
And the question will just be, how long can it sustain itself? Because the world changes, you know, and I'm not one that said, look, we should just have one language, but I am very sort of, I do see where the spends go. Every single client's not like a KFC who's got a budget to segment the market. So that's my view, but I think it's an incredible award show. It supports great communication. We know that that market's also a very powerful market in terms of buying power in South Africa. Yeah. So yes.
So Franette, what is new this year with Pendoring?
There are a few new exciting developments this year, and one of the most exciting developments is that the client and company of the Prestige Award winner will receive advertising space and airtime from our participating partners to the value of 2.5 million rand. We also, for the overall student winner, will win an internship at Draft FCB, Cape Town or Johannesburg, which will mean he or she will work side by side with top creatives in the industry. We've also introduced a new TV category with a production budget below 350,000 rand. And we have a rap competition that's exclusively for agencies and students that where they can show their mettle in and about Afrikaans. Jack Barrow will judge all the video entries, and the top 3 will be put on our website, and the winner will be steaming away on a fantastic boat cruise. And then lastly but not the least, we also want to invite the consumers to join in the fun in Pendoring, and we want them to enter into the Mense Doring competition where they can vote for their favourite Afrikaans ad over the past decade.
Well, now I want to talk about the creative of this campaign. Franette was talking about Jack Barrow. Why Jack Barrow? How did that come about?
Well, you know, Jack Barrow has sort of set Afrikaans alight over the last couple of months.
With the Zef is cool kind of.
With the Zef is cool, you know, hand in hand with the Antwoord, which is doing the same thing internationally. You know, we were sort of, when we got the brief, we started trawling the blogs and looking at what's happening out there. And we found one guy who had blogged from the US, and he said, you know, this makes me want to learn Afrikaans just to understand the lyrics better.
Really?
And yeah, we thought that's great, man. You know, for the first time, well, ever, I guess, you know, you can say Afrikaans is really cool, you know, which we've always known it
So
was.
is he bringing the cool back?
I think, well, I think he's highlighting what it's always been. You know,
Yeah.
I think Afrikaans has always been a really creative and a really cool language. It's just had a lot of baggage with it. You know, sort of Jack Barrow has come, you know, and he said, he's just cut through it and said, this is who I am, this is what I'm about.
Take it or leave it.
And take it or leave it.
En ek is cooler as jy.
Ek is cooler as, well.
Pepe, do you like Jack Barrow?
I like him. And not in that way. I think
Let's get the record straight.
I think he's absolutely fantastic and spectacular. And I was saying earlier on to hear Afrikaans on 5FM.
Yeah.
Was quite phenomenal. I don't think I've ever heard an Afrikaans song make 5FM, under correction, but I've never heard that. And so that is spectacular for me. And I do think it's cool. And I think what's interesting is obviously the campaign and really what I've seen of it is, and that's the word, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes Afrikaans cool. But then we also know it's targeted at a creative fraternity, and maybe that's also where Afrikaans is changing to. You know, it's not this pure, absolutely perfect language. It's become it's become very South Africanized. It's become like Africanized.
But the cool aspect, isn't that trying too hard?
I don't think so. I mean, if you watch him, so I've also gone onto YouTube and looked at some of his videos, and I've seen some of his live shows, and I don't know him personally, so you will have better insight on that. But the guy seems so authentically para. He's like this common dude. So
that's true. I mean, I'll back up what Pep is saying. You know, if you meet Jack Para, he is what you see in the videos.
Yeah.
So, you know, when he says, you know, ek is cooler as jy, or jy is cooler as ek, whatever he approaches you with, you know, he's authentic. He really is cool. And the way that he puts it across, the Zef cool, you know, needs no explanation. You know, it's
Franette,
real.
I want to get back to the Pendoring Awards and tell us about the judging process. How do you go about selecting the judges, and what are the judges looking for?
Well, the criteria for the judging process is entries must be at least 80% in Afrikaans. Then they look at, is the concept an original Afrikaans concept? Is it innovative? Does it bring a new and fresh way of thinking? How good is the execution? And is the work relevant to the audience, to the chosen medium? And then also, very importantly, is it a likable ad? Obviously, the truly South African category can be in any of the 11 official languages, could be in any medium as well. And then lastly, the judges judge all the entries in a local context.
Right, right. And what can we expect from this year?
Well, there's a lot of expectations, I think, and for us, we would like to stimulate a renewed interest in Afrikaans, especially among the creatives at agencies and students, by showing how cool is Afrikaans and hoping that that will result in more Afrikaans work as well as entries.
Well, from one award ceremony to another, over the years, Apex has grown to be a formidable industry event. And Apex is not just an award for creativity, but one that proves the campaign contributed to their clients' profitability. I recently attended the gala event and filed this report.
The Apex Awards has become one of the highlights of the industry calendar, attracting leading advertising professionals, captains of industry, key stakeholders from government and prominent figures from the media.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2010 Apex Awards.
The adjudication process is notoriously stringent, as entrants had to provide evidence of the effectiveness of their marketing communications and prove that their entries have achieved performance excellence by contributing a measurable return on investment.
I've seen a steady and extremely healthy evolution of the Apex Awards as they head, in my view, remorselessly towards the centre of the marketing communications stage.
The winners were awarded in one of three categories: launch, change and sustain. TBWA Huntleskaris walked away with a special award for their $1 trillion campaign that ingeniously used actual money as the medium and the message for the campaign.
Well, I think from my perspective it's really amazing because it's really nice for a campaign to get acknowledged creatively, but from where I sit in the industry, effectiveness is probably what I go after in my everyday job. So to be awarded at the Apex Awards, where you're really talking about effectiveness, has the campaign done the job, has it delivered on clients' objectives, is something really special for me, because I think a great idea is truly great when it achieves both creativity and you sell papers, which I think we managed to achieve with this campaign, which is fantastic.
The star of the show was undoubtedly Ogilvy Johannesburg, who scooped up a gold award in the sustain category, as well as the Apex Grand Prix.
It's just such a great recognition of the work we do every day and the impact that we make for our clients' businesses. So it's just really exciting for us.
Apparently the case studies you had to do in the entry was quite substantial and quite hard. What did you think about that?
Well, it was very hard and it actually took a lot of hours to put together, but it actually is in everything that we do every day. It's in the blood, sweat and tears that we shed every single day. And achieving this tonight is just the most amazing thing for us. We're just so happy and so proud.
I
It's absolutely fantastic. It really is a fantastic bit of recognition for thousands of people around South Africa who work hard every day to try and make this brand what it is. And that includes our ad agency. Graham's been on this account for 16 years. It includes the team members in our restaurants, our franchisees, and the team at the Yum Restaurant Support Centre. They're going to be thrilled.
So Pepe, you were a judge at this year's Apex Awards. Apparently it was quite intensive and quite difficult.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I saw the other side. Because when you're creative, I think you take like these massive strategies, and at the end of the day you've got 30 seconds to cut through the clutter and do a piece of communication. So it's shorthand, and Apex is the complete inverse. It's very marketing driven, very strategically driven, massive case studies. So wadding through like 40, 50, 60 case studies.
Must have been easy for you though.
Very easy.
Yeah.
No pictures.
Oh, no pictures.
So, but an incredible learning experience. So really insightful to see where a lot of brands come from.
And your thoughts on effectiveness as an Apex versus a Pendoring or a Lurie's where it's only creativity in terms of awards?
I think they both have a role to play, definitely.
Would you say it's more client side for the effectiveness and more creativity on the agency side?
No, I think what I appreciate of where they're taking the Apex, so it's happened over the last 3 years. They're really trying to take it towards awarding great work that yields great results. And that is what great advertising should do. Where on the awards side we look clearly for great work and originality, and I would say not half of the time it actually does yield great results. I mean, that's what I do believe. But yeah, the Apex, I think there's a lot of good coming out of that awards for the future of our business, making the business more professional.
Morne, what are your thoughts on the Apex Awards?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's got a definite place. Obviously from a creative perspective, it's not necessarily that exciting, but it's definitely got a place. And I would also back up, usually a campaign that is great creatively often performs well, in terms of the Apex criteria as well. So, yeah, I think it's got a definite place in the industry.
Yeah, it wasn't exciting because there were no pictures, right?
Yeah, well,
I'll give you guys an insight. I had a very interesting question by someone afterwards who said, would you, if you had to employ someone, would you be more interested in that person having won like a gold Lurie or gold Apex?
Yeah.
Or they said a Lurie or Apex. And I said, in all honesty, I'll be very interested if they won a gold Apex, because the gold Apex winners were actually Grand Prix and gold winning.
But there were only actually two.
There were two.
Yeah.
And a correction. So KFC
was the Grand Prix and a gold.
Was a Grand Prix and a gold.
Yeah.
But the quality of the KFC creative, because it's in a sustained category over 10 years. If I take the top 10 ads out of the KFC category, they are fantastic commercials, and they're fantastic creative commercials and conceptual commercials. So yes, I would actually look going forward, if this is where the Apex is going, I would be very interested in finding creatives that has got Apex on their series.
Just what's your thoughts on with the Apex Awards, with FMCG products? It's actually a lot easier for FMCG products to enter because the results are measurable in the short term. Where you have luxury products, it's quite more difficult to see the results. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm just trying to think. The case studies are quite broad. So yes, I think the main prize went to like a retail chain.
Yes.
But there were also Apexes awarded to car categories and or where a brand came in and made quite a change to their direction in the marketplace. So they've got 3 different categories. So I think it's quite open. I mean, in fact, there was an Apex this year for packaging change.
That's right, yes.
And that's quite, because as long as you can prove that whatever you've done made a meaningful difference, and at the end of the day, that's what we do. I mean, often marketers don't believe us creative people do live by this, but we do love to let our ads sell products.
Yeah, sure.
If we don't, we won't be doing what we're doing.
Yeah. A lot of excitement around Apex Awards, huh? But we're going to have to leave it there. Well, remember, you can send us an email on media@cnbcafrica.com, and you can watch all the videos on abndigital.com. After the break, we get to grips with the strategy for one of South Africa's most loved fast foods, and we get an international perspective on the South African advertising landscape. See you after this.